Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, as always, Chad. This is Making an Impact, your weekly Impact Wrestling recap. This is going to be an interesting one because it's it's Barbed Wire Massacre 3. So let's kick off into this because it's a wild one. We open up with Ishimori versus Desmond Xavier for the X Division Championship. It's a little fitting that he was on the show in this match because it was kind of over the top. It was nuts. I like it. There's a lot of cool spots like a vertical suplex off the top rope. Stalling suplex, actually, was more like it. There was a nasty, crazy, cuckoo Desmond Xavier going top rope into the audience, Rob Van Dam style, taking out Ishimori. It's a really fast pace, a lot of fun. Classic, fast paced X Division match. Definitely worth a check out. I wouldn't say match of the year, but in terms of like an X Division television match, this felt like it was special. Not like all time great special, but like word of mouth. Hey, check this out. Desmond Xavier did some crazy shit. Ishimori gets the win, retains the belt. They bring up the fact he's going back over to Japan, so they're really making that this X Division belt's going to be international for a bit. So I like that. That's pretty cool. They shake hands and hug and celebrate in the ring, classic style, because, hey, it's competition, man, not hate. Which is ironic because, technically speaking, Desmond Xavier is part of the OVE crew, so I wonder how long it's going to take for them to put him in OVE. So we'll see what happens if they ever decide to do that. A lot of recaps this week. They had to cut about 20 minutes of the show in international markets, including Canada and overseas, for the barbed wire match. So, like, I'm sure most of the stuff didn't pop up if you guys were out of the United States watching this. I'm sure a lot of this stuff probably didn't get seen. But they did maybe 20-some minutes of recapping the OVE LAX feud, and I'm going to just skip all that. They hype up the Dan Lambert American Top Team stuff. Talks about how he retired James Storm, got rid of Moose. How Impact should thank him and all that. And it was fine. It was what it was. It wasn't anything great, but it was enough to make you think, there you go. We then get the Global Wrestling Network flashback moment of the week was Eddie Edwards versus Aaron Rex. I think this was at like what? Not this past year's Bound for Glory, but the year before, 2016 Bound for Glory. Eddie loses to Rex. Rex wins the match and picks up the belt. It may not have been that exact one because they did fight a few times in that match. Apparently, this was extended on the American edition to help eat up time for the Barbed Wire Massacre. We then get a recap of Matt Sydal and EC3 story. It's announced next week that it'll be for the Grand Championship. No judges, no rounds, just straight up old school wrestling. And then we see Laurel Van Ness winning the Knockouts Championship from the week before, so that was all right. Then we get another match. It was Congo Kong with Jimmy Jacobs. I like Jimmy Jacobs. I think he adds a nice dynamic, and I think he should be better utilized, a lot more mic time, because he's a very fantastic talker, like me. You go much. Congo Kong took on Chandler Park. Chandler, he had a rough night. He got beat up a bit. Chandler did have a few moments of offense and even got, I think, Congo in the corner. He's like, I'm doing it. He wasn't doing it for much longer. Eventually, Kong drops down on Chandler's head, and that's the match. Little just, heads up, they're building up to Congo versus Joseph Parks, so it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. Jimmy says Congo is the monster and that the Parks have become pathetic, so looking forward to that. We then see hype, a little promo work from Johnny Impact, Alberto El Patron, and the Paper Champion, El Eladric. I'll say this. I'm glad they put this match on this show because it was not good. I don't think so. So the match was held at Border Championship Wrestling. Scott D. Amore runs Border Championship Wrestling, but for whatever reason, the ring ropes were like loose as hell. And you can't do anything on those kind of ropes. Like, you're basically wrestling, in a square. Like, you can't rely on the ropes because they might give away. You might fall through. Like, there's no resistance. So the match went about 5 minutes, and I can't imagine it went anything more than that in real life. Like not in real life, but outside of the taping, because it was pretty bad. Eventually, things fall apart. Referees get beat up thanks to Eli Drake. Then the match is thrown out. Then the locker room pours out, and then Eli and Johnny Impact are beating up the locker room. Like I said, I'm glad this match happened tonight because, yeesh, not great. We then get Rosemary versus Casey Spinelli. They're doing a nice slow develop with Casey Spinelli. She's basically enhancement talent right now, but a lot of guys start off as enhancement talent under the D'Amore regime. I remember Eric Young was enhancement talent. Bobby Roode was barely getting wins at one point, so it's good to see Spinelli getting some work in. Eventually, Rosemary takes control, hits two red. She doesn't hit. She had tried for two red weddings. She eventually hits it though, pins her, and then she cuts a promo basically saying anyone who's willing to take an acid, what was it? Acid spit to the hands is someone she can respect. So she gives the nod to Laurel Van Ness because that's she blocked the acid mist with her hands and to win the title, and so Rosemary gave her props. And as she's giving her props, Hania. I think it's Hania, the Howling Huntress debuts, and well, she's already out of the company, so there you go about that. She did look good. Little difficulty getting Rosemary over the top, but she beats down on Rosemary, and the basic gist is Su Yung is going to debut in the company, and they wanted Su Yung to look imposing because they want her to be the new monster heel in the Knockouts division, especially with Sienna being on the shelf for a while. So one of the ways you make a monster heel is by putting her over somebody else, and they asked Tanya to do it, allegedly. She allegedly refused, and then she was fired. So, yeah, kind of awesome debut, and she's gone already because she's kind of a pain in the ass. So, there you go. So she screams, "Nobody's going to stop me." 8 referees come down, and security guys and stuff like that. So yeah, that was cool. We then get more brush up on the rivalry between Ovi and LAX. Abyss, he's there talking about the scars because he was in the only other 2 against Judas Messias and Sabu, respectively. And then we go into the insanity that was the Barbed Wire Massacre match. I didn't watch it on Twitch because I was busy recording ComicCorp, which should be up by the time this is posted. All I'm going to say about this match is it was knucking futz. There are some moments where you could tell they were trying to go easy. I remember a spot where Santana ran into the corner against this plywood board that has barbed wire and dropped it on top of him. And it looked like, oh, he stopped and dropped it on himself. But then you realize that it's still stuck, and it's stuck good, and you're like, oh, even if you're not trying to, it's going to hurt. There were so many moments, especially Homicide. Homicide and I think Jay Christ is the blonde one. They both went into the barbed wire ropes, if you will. And they both got wrapped up in them at different times. And I'm just like, oh, God. It's up on YouTube, on Impact Wrestling's YouTube channel. I urge you all to go watch it because it was... I can't do it justice. I think it might be, in terms of technical wrestling, the best of the 3. Sabu's and Abyss's was far more violent, in my opinion. But that's really only because those 2 dudes are used to doing that kind of insanity. While these 3 guys, while they have wrestled hardcore matches on that level to that degree, no. The shot at the end is going to become iconic. Santana took these bamboo rods. They're maybe a foot long. Crumpled them together into his fist, put them against Jake's, I think because Jake's the brunette, against Jake's forehead, and started to hammer them in with his palm on the top of these rods, these bamboo rods. And then he let go, and you could see them all still stuck in his skull. And then he fucking suplexes him off the ladder through a table. It was hard to watch at points. Jake at one point, they're like, oh, or Dave, I think it's Dave. Dave's the blonde one, I think. Dave goes through like a table off the stairs, I think, or goes off this, goes into a table from the stairs. Just watch it. It's crazy. And he goes through this barbed wire table, I think it was, or barbed wire board, and Josh Matthews like, and not like Jim Ross overly excited. Josh Matthews is like, he has kids. Like, that subtle realization of what just happened to a man who has young children. And I have to give credit. Like, Jeremy Borash is doing his high-energy play-by-play, and that's fine. But Josh Matthews, say what you will about Josh Matthews, his tone during this match made so much of it pop. The constant, oh, I'm going to be sick. Oh, these are human beings. Like just so many great reactionaries. And not like Don West over the top or Jerry the King Lawler, whoopoo. But like genuine human, like, oh, I'm thinking the same thing. Oh, that had to hurt. Now I will say this: the barbed wire did appear to be a little bit of the easier quality to handle, because back in 2005 at what was it, Turning Point 2005 when they did the first one, you hit those ropes and you fell, and those ropes didn't budge. Those barbed wire just whatever those strings of barbed wire are, were just unrelenting. But these kind of gave away a little bit easier, which I am fortunate for, mostly because yeah, it was rough to watch. But it was definitely an entertaining match. It lived up to the hype, that's for sure. Thousands of people were watching it on Twitch. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say 20,000. I think it was like 7 or 8,000 watched it, I think, live, maybe more. And, it's getting some good clips right now on YouTube. So, like, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It's kind of crazy. It's definitely worth it. Next week is Genesis, triple threat cage match, El Patron, Johnny Impact, Eli Drake. Then we also got, what's next week? Lashley versus Moose. Seidel versus EC3 for the Grand Championship, and I think Laurel Van Ness versus Ali for the Women's Knockouts Championship. So it's gonna be a good show next week. I knew last week was a dud, but last week was supposed to be a dud because last week bled into this week, so like we knew that. But next week's gonna be a good show, and even though last week's was a dud, it was still watchable. Like, it wasn't bad. This week's was a damn good show. Impact's been hitting on all cylinders, and with the 24/7 Twitch channel, the 24/7 Pluto channel, the Global Wrestling Network, YouTube, there's literally no reason not to be able to watch Impact whenever you want. So I am really excited about this Scott D'Amore, Don Callis regime. So, here's hoping. So that's all I got for you tonight. Be sure to check out all the podcasts on the website. You can download all our podcasts now either to your, Window devices? Is that what they're called? Window Media. So if you have like an Android phone, you can download straight to there. If you have an iPhone, you can download straight to there. People with not apps, god damn it, I can talk. People with, they're not computers. I'm so old. What the fuck are they called? I can't even remember. And I'm not even going to cut any of this because this is hilarious. Tablets. There's the word. If you have your tablets, be it iOS or Windows, you can download the shows now. iTunes, realnerdcorp.podbeam.com, or you can go to the website realnerdcorp.com. There are links to both downloadable links on the website via your browser, via your phone. So realnerdcorp.com. Check it out. Download it. We also have news up on the website every day. We post news in the world of sci-fi, comics, pro wrestling. Wrestling usually goes up around 5. Comics usually go up around 5:30. You can check those out. Check out the Tumblr blogs, nerdcorp.tumblr.com, I think, or realnerdcorp.tumblr.com. I need to get the fucking links all the same. I think I'm going to just change everything to Real Nerdcorp and just be done with it. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that's everything. So just go to realnerdcorp.com, click on the link on the headline. It's pretty simple to navigate. If you want wrestling content, there's a wrestling tab. If you want podcast content, there's a drop down for the podcasts. All our social media links are up there. It's really just simpler to go to realnerdcorp.com and branch out from there. So just do that. It's the hub for the reason. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video if you want. I don't care if you do. Like, that's up to you. I'm not your boss. I just appreciate the fact that anyone's watching these or listening to these at all. So, thank you. That's always awesome. And don't worry, we weren't affected by the demonetization, the Adpocalypse 4.0, because we never got approved. Because YouTube doesn't like us. So, oh well. Yeah, and follow us on Twitter at NERDCORP. That's NERDCORP at NerdCorp on Twitter. So with all that being said, thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out, and we will check you out next week. I need to figure out how to end these shows better. God damn it.